Welcome to this episode of Roots and Wings. I'm Jennifer He, your fractional chief marketing officer. And David,
Fractional Chief Revenue Officer.
yeah, our Roots and Wings, our podcast is dedicated to business owners, leaders, and anyone who's interested in creating wealth by business building. Today, we're going to talk about sales. That's an area David has expertise in, and both David and myself, we're committed to prevent costly mistakes for our clients. Um, you know, s- like sales is no small step, right? So every step counts, and if you make some mistakes, and that will mean missed revenue. For us, like preventing people from making costly mistakes, because we've experienced all those things and navigated through challenges. And especially David, who has many insights in this area. And you prepared like three mistakes your sales team is making that you can change right now. So let's dive into those three
Sure.
mistakes.
So, one of the things that, and when what Jennifer, what you were referring to, and that's really is that it's costly. It's costly if you continue doing it,
Yeah.
but you can turn this around really quickly. And let's start with the first mistake that, I'm seeing with different businesses. And by the way, these mistakes are, I took three different parts of your sales cycle and said, okay, where can I fix and tweak? So I'm going to start at the beginning, we're going to go to the middle, and then we're going to go to the end. And we're going to, so at the beginning, the mistake that I am really shocked is we keep our sales team keeps sending the wrong generic, vanilla, whatever you want to call it, lead generation messages, whether it's phone calls, emails, LinkedIn messaging. It's simply if your sales team today or your head of sales or whatever
Mm.
is not checking into how your sales team is approaching customers, prospective customers, then it's dead. We've talked about this in a different podcast that the opening is the new closing. If you
Mm.
open right, the rest of the journey is much easier. And cold calling today, cold prospecting today is so much harder than ever before because what we're trying to accomplish with this is to get a meeting
Mhm.
and get an interested person on the other end to want a meeting. And
Mhm.
so if we send these generic messages,
Mhm.
we're not getting meetings. And
So,
I'll
David, I have a
sorry.
question here.
Yeah.
So, when you say generic messages, as a business owner or, the team's leader, how would I know, like, what are the signs we're sending out generic messages?
Let's start from the first thing. How do you greet them? Good day.
Mm. Or I
Like,
hope this
hope you're
email
doing
you're
well.
doing well.
Totally. Jennifer, when I was 18 years old selling men's shoes, I remember a gentleman walked into the store and I went, "Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?" And he looked at me, and goes, "Why do you care?"
Mm.
He was right. Why do I care? I don't know this person from a hole in the wall. It is a completely unnecessary approach. We're polite, but it's unnecessary.
Mm.
Really, what you've got to look at is, do I understand who I'm reaching out to?
Mhm.
Don't just
So in
talk.
in that case that you just mentioned, how would you approach that gentleman?
Oh, I
Not
may
good day, good
I,
afternoon, but how
may
would
I help you today? What brings you into the store today?
you?
You have, again. It's not about like, here, let me break the ice by being nice. People, you haven't established the relationship yet. So until you establish that relationship, you don't have the permission to really engage them. And I know that sounds very technical, but you don't have permission yet to go to the next step. Step one is, let me engage you with something interesting. So if I'm sending you a generic message saying, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, let's have a meeting, it's worthless.
Mm,
The person at the other end needs to know that you understand that they have a problem. If you don't express that in your some way in that outreach, it isn't going to work. So
mm,
in the messages, whether it's an email, LinkedIn, phone call, trade shows, I don't care where you're meeting these people. If you don't lead with understanding their problem, you can't go further than that. Then you can get into, look what we've done. Look how we've made this accomplishment like what we could do in your business. But what we do is the reverse. We're great. We're the best thing since sliced bread. We're amazing. Let's have a meeting. Don't do that. Please,
mhm.
please don't do that.
So basically, what you're saying is, first of all, do some research or do some homework to understand who you're talking to, right? So
Absolutely.
personalize the message. Do not send a common message, a generic message,
Please
one
don't.
any kind of message
Please don't.
to everyone, because it's a one-on-one, one-to-one conversation. But I do have another concern from business owner perspective, is if I have, say, personalized approach, but then how about efficiency? Because efficiency, is always on the business leaders, owners' mind.
Mhm.
Is how do I like approach it without feeling like without the other person feeling robotic.
Right.
Meanwhile,
That's a
achieve
great
some kind
question.
of efficiency.
That's a great question. And again, who am I approaching and why? And so I have one client, for example, where their buyer is buying something that's a commodity.
Mm,
At that point, commodity is only about price. So therefore, what do you can I do? Can I offer that person something other than lowering their price that would make it interesting for them? That's understanding their business. If I'm talking to a CEO, then I guess the question is it efficiency? Is it new? Like, what am I offering that takes their business to another level?
mm,
Solving a high level problem, telling me that I could lower your costs. Yeah, that might be interesting to a CEO, but might be too narrow. Who are you targeting? Why? And what is the problem that you're intending to solve for them? And it's got to be very focused. I can tell you, I get email messages all the time. It dives into my spam because my computer picks up the generic, as you called it, robotic
mm,
approaches where I could tell no one really looked at my business. And I think the best one that I got was someone in my industry, a consultant like me said, "Hey, I can help you grow your business.
mm.
Did you even look at what I do?
Yeah.
You didn't go to my website. You sent me as you called it, a robotic message. Clearly it came out of ChatGPT because
Mm,
I could tell from the words.
mhm,
You can't.
mhm,
You got to be, if you don't address the person you're trying to reach out to in the way that they want to be, reached out to. And please, if you didn't listen to our last episode about this, we clearly talked a lot about that, about making sure that that the personality matches. That's what you got to do. So these lead gen messaging,
yeah.
please take a little extra time. Don't just blast it out of your CRM. Don't
Mm,
just blast it out of wherever it is,
mm,
hoping and praying for the best. Putting those fields going, dear blank, your company blank, that don't do that. It goes right into spam. People aren't reading it,
yeah.
and we're done.
Yeah.
And by the way, one little extra bonus, your subject title has to catch it. It's got to have a hook. It's got to have something that'll catch their attention.
Mhm,
Think about it from a phone. You're right now we're checking our emails on our phone, messages
mhm,
on the phone. If I see something that doesn't catch my attention, boom, delete.
yeah.
So please take the time. It's about quality, not quantity.
Yeah. So on the quantity side, because I understand like marketing deals with one to many. So your overall value proposition, your product or service value propositions, you need to get all those things prepared.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's the foundation and your overall strategy. But then when you have the sales team dealing with one to one, you need to personalize each approach. But the overarching um, you know, does not change. But then let each salesperson, customize their approach,
Listen,
aligning to your
but
strategy, right?
but we
That's
both we both know that marketing is going to talk to a group of people,
Mm,
and they're going to open the door for sales to say, I've talked to these people this way.
yeah.
Now go to that person, take what I said, but make it personal so that there's that connection.
Hmm.
That's not happening.
Hmm.
And that's why so many of these messages fall on deaf ears or in the spam folder.
Yeah. So, how about mistake number two
Whew.
on your
Mistake
list?
number two. Let's go to the middle of the sales cycle,
Yeah.
and your sales team is making a presentation. So if you're a head of sales, you're a CEO, and I'm strongly encouraging, go on the road with your team.
Mm,
Go listen to your team, even if they're on Zoom or whatever. A lot of them, please, please, please go out on the road. And if they have used the same PowerPoint deck on every single presentation without making one flipping change, that there's that vanilla word again. It's
yeah.
not going to work, because then the person at the other end realizes you're not, you didn't catch it.
Mm,
What will make something go from forgettable to compelling starts with, I understand your pain point.
hmm.
So the start of this presentation has
Yeah.
to be
Just don't
simple.
say it literally. You need to let your prospect experience that, right? They
Absolutely.
understand you.
The one thing I want to see in a presentation is the person at the other end going, yeah, or
Mm,
aha, oh, this kind of reaction. And I know I'm being very over dramatic on purpose, but watch the eyes, watch the face. Again, we did this in another podcast, folks, but watch the reaction, because you've hit a nerve. They have a problem. And now that you've got them and you've hooked them, now it's time to tell them how you're going to solve that problem for
mm,
them. They
mm,
don't want to hear the vanilla. They don't want to hear the generic,
yeah.
because they don't care. They want to know that your solution solves their problem.
Hmm.
So, yes, stories, telling them, what you've done for others that they can relate to, because no two businesses are perfectly
So
identical.
relevancy is a
Right.
key word here.
Testimonials, relevancy that says, hey, look, here's how we succeeded.
Hmm.
Maybe you need a case study, statistics. Each industry is just a little bit different. And then the other part is, please do not make this monotone. PowerPoint is people still love PowerPoint like no one's business. But even within your PowerPoint, stop text dumping on people. Make it visual, whether there's graphics or videos. I was in technology for a while, interactive demos, something to create that engagement. If you don't, what are you doing? Okay. Don't feature dump. What's in it for them?
Hmm.
One, two, three benefits. Stop right there.
Yeah.
Don't go to 20, because there's not going to happen.
Hmm.
And then ask the questions. Did we address the problem? Is there an understanding? Is there an aha moment?
Be totally aware of interactions, right? Are you
Absolutely.
interacting with your audience?
If the person at the other end is not able to ask you a single question, you fail,
Mm,
because you want to get that engagement. Because the more they question, the more they ask, and you might say, oh, I don't want to deal with objections. No, objections are good.
mm,
Objections are good, because then you can then further substantiate why you and not their current provider or supplier or partner or whatever that they're doing. So when we're doing these presentations, it's critical. So I'm going to give you a story of when I was in 3D visual business. Okay, we did 3D visual real estate tours, and it was interactive. It was as interactive as they get. When I got to this company, everybody was presented the exact same way. Very technical
mm,
to a marketing person. And I went in there and I said, do we really understand that the buyer at the other end doesn't care about the technical? Marketing doesn't care if it's built on this platform or that platform.
yeah, they
It's
care
just
about what it does,
what it
what
does and
results
how
it.
does it simplify.
Mhm,
And at the end of the day, what I asked was, what does this product really do? And they said, oh, it helps buyers buy faster. Okay, what does this really do? And when we drill down, what we realize is we actually shorten the sales cycle for the developer, which means in their pocket. they got more money because every day that the condos or the
Yeah, you
properties
save
weren't
more time,
sold
right?
was expensive.
Mm,
And so we told the story that we actually did too well with one client. They were selling too fast.
mhm.
That they actually had to slow down. They closed the sales office because of us.
Yeah.
And as crazy as that sounds, that resonated with so many people going, what do you mean you sold too fast? It never happens. Yeah, we were selling the properties too fast because people really understood what they were seeing. And
Mhm,
what we did is we got away from the technical
mhm,
and we went to the more personal, what they were going to get for them. And we focused on the, and then I said, here, touch this, play with this, click here. I
mhm,
want you to see how simple and easy it is. Because you look at it, it looks like a video game, and your first reaction is, I don't play video games. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm petrified.
mhm,
We took away that. We had them touch it. We told stories. We increased our closing rate huge. We were
mhm,
able to raise our prices because we got that. And that's the difference of what between trying to be vanilla
mhm,
versus personal.
mhm.
Again, we're back to that personal thing, but
Yeah.
this whole you'll notice this podcast is all about personalization. Take time to understand the person at the other end of the table. What's going to stop them from saying yes? And
Mhm,
take that all away.
mhm.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, David. So, in reality, and what should companies do? Like, should they prepare a gigantic like PPT for the sales team? Then the sales team, individually pick, whatever works for them. Is that a good approach?
One approach is to have a fully comprehensive PowerPoint presentation, absolutely, in which the salespeople know how to hide certain slides. I agree. Because if I'm going to go to business A versus business B, some of my slides may not be the same thing.
Yeah.
Throwing in their logo and all that stuff, it's all cute. We know we could do it, but do it.
Hmm.
Do it. Okay.
Hmm.
But then have the salespeople understand the ability, and if they need help, marketing can help them of adding a page or two or whatever to the presentation. But that's if I'm working with PowerPoint.
Mm.
If I'm not working with PowerPoint, what can I say?
Yeah, we
What
don't have to work
flow?
with
What
PowerPoint.
kind of documents? What kind of visuals? What
Mm,
kind of websites can I show them? Like I'm working with one client right now. They're a software. There's no PowerPoint.
mm,
And in this case, in the software, the way he used to present it, again, very technical. This is how it functions. This is how it works, and blah, 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 blah. And I went the reverse. I said, no, forget about that. Let me show you what your user is going to experience.
mm,
And depending who I'm talking about, the user was a different experience. So understand who you're talking to, create that engagement.
mhm,
Oh, by the way, when you're presenting, and if you listen to my voice right now, inflection, emotion,
mm.
even in B2B,
Yeah,
get emotional. I'm
yeah.
not saying over the top, jump off bridges and, woohoo, but get excited about what you're providing.
Mhm,
Be interested in them.
mhm,
Show that engagement. That makes such a difference.
mhm,
Because people will buy when they feel that it's good, not
mhm.
just, the numbers.
Yeah. So it's both the content and the delivery of it, right?
100%.
Content-wise,
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
storytelling and delivery of it, you need to be able to create and manage that experience.
Oh, yeah.
Basically,
Absolutely.
that's how people experience you.
Absolutely. And please practice, practice, practice,
Practice.
practice, practice.
Yeah. So thank you. So that's number two mistake. What is number three?
So the number three mistake that I've seen with so many companies, and this is now at the end,
Mhm.
when you hear the words, send me a proposal, why are we taking it literally? They didn't really necessarily mean send me an email. Here's the document,
Yeah.
especially in B2B, especially when something is complex,
Mhm.
especially when something has an investment in it.
Mhm.
Why are you emailing somebody a quote? Now, there are businesses where it's an RFQ, request for quote, and the only thing you do is send out a quote. And
Mhm.
I get some of that.
Mhm.
Okay. Transport and logistic companies, they send quotes all the time. And then they
Mhm.
go, wow, we didn't get the business. Why were you pricing it at that price?
Mhm.
Because what's going to happen is I'm going to send you a document with 20 pages on it. Jennifer, what page do you think you're going to go to? The
The
price.
page that has the quote on
The
it.
price, right? Am I going to read the
And
other
my first
19
reaction
pages?
would be, "Whoa, it's expensive."
Right. So I'm not reading the other 19 pages. I'm not getting why you're doing it. You think I'm reading it, and at the end, it's like, oh no, it's too expensive.
Mhm,
Out. When you're doing a presentation, you took the time, you finally got them.
mhm,
You made a connection.
yeah,
You have a presentation, you made a connection. And then at the close, you actually degrade what you just did. You
mhm,
ruin that whole establishing that whole connection by sending them a document. Now,
yeah,
your buyer could say, I'm insisting on you doing it. You don't have to set up a meeting.
mhm,
Do not listen, please. And I know that's hard.
yeah.
You
I
need to
think find
find,
out what the underlying motivation is. They're trying to understand like what you can do for us.
look, you know what,
So
Jennifer, they're going to say is, and I had this, oh, it's not for me, it's for my boss, and I'm just going to share it with my boss. But how are you going to convey the qualitative side of it?
yeah,
Also, you're going to look at the price and go 20,000, 10,000, 15,000. We'll take the 15,000. But are they the same? Did we get, are we, so I'm asking, and I've seen this, and I got that from somebody. He sent me a quote, and I went, you don't want to talk to me? And I'm not talking about something that's 50,000 bucks,
yeah.
but they just sent me a quote and hope for the best.
Mhm,
A surefire way of losing business is by just emailing the quote and hoping for the best. The
mhm,
smart way to do, set up a meeting, set up
yeah,
a presentation, go through the presentation, go through the pricing to justify why you're doing it,
mhm,
walk them through so they understand it. Even if they say, yeah, but just okay, send me a quote. Hey, this is a big dollar amount.
mhm,
Let's go through it together. I will take a little bit of time, and people will object. You got to take that back. You got to take that control, or you're surefire to lose that
yeah.
business.
And also have that mindset. Anything I learn, like anything I get, I can learn. Like, do not feel that that's objection or fear. You're gonna have that objection, and because of that fear, and you don't pick up the phone or approach that person to have a conversation, right?
Oh,
David, you are
yeah,
what you are saying is, it's better to always have a conversation
always,
and
always, always.
non-human interaction. Like I send you an email, I just escape. Try
I,
not to
my
try
business. I have
not
a
to
lot.
face my failure.
I have clients in Mexico. Okay, so I work with clients in Mexico. So I'm not getting on a plane necessarily to present them the quotation. But every time they say to me, "Could David, could you send me a quote?" I said, "Yes." I'll tell you what. Let's set up a meeting, 15, 20 minutes. I don't
Mhm,
want to burn your day, but
mhm,
please give me the chance to explain to you what you're getting for the
mhm,
price.
mhm,
And I've had people say, "No, no, David, send it to me, and then we'll have a meeting."
mhm.
And when that happens, more often than not, the answer is no. But when I'm the one making the presentation and talking and explaining and giving them the support as to why I'm charging that amount,
Yeah,
more often the answer is yes. And
yeah.
so really, yeah, you could get business by emailing it, but
Mhm,
your percentage of close will go down significantly. And that's why I'm so persistent on, please keep in mind all these three things that we just talked about today. It's all about personalization, creating that connection, establishing that relationship. That is key, especially in B2B sales. That
mhm.
is key. I mean, we can go on and on of other mistakes, but these three things today, you can get your salespeople to stop today by doing these things.
Yeah. Well, thank you, David. I think we will remember those three mistakes, and you've provided us with the tips, like what we can do immediately to improve our sales approaches. So
Absolutely. So, folks, let's very quickly make sure your initial conversations personal. When you're interacting and you're presenting, personal, and your final follow up with the quote, personal,
personal. Instead of sending that email,
instead of sending that email.
picking up
There
the
you go.
phone, having a conversation, and provide value first before you
Huge.
provide the quotation.
It's huge. It's huge.
Okay, thank you so much. That concludes our episode today.
Folks, if you really enjoyed this and you haven't caught our previous episodes, we got a whole bunch there. Please take the time to listen to it. Jennifer's a phenomenal international marketer and has
Thank
brought
you.
so much of her experience with her into the previous podcast. I brought my sales experience in here. We're looking forward to hearing from you what more you want to hear about it. People have engaged the two of us in different topics and said, hey, I was thinking about, can you get into? We'd be happy to share our experiences with you. And if you have any questions that related to your business about growth, because that's what Jennifer and I are about, all about seeing business growth, domestic, across the country, internationally. If you are really excited about growth, so are we. So
Thank
come on board, send us your questions. Love to engage with you. And until next time, Jennifer,
thank you so much. Until
take care.
next
Bye.
time. Bye.